Good afternoon, everybody. It is 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in New York. Want to thank everybody who's tuned in already for spending their afternoon with us here. I know this time for some, especially with our reach, is more inconvenient than convenient. It's the reason why we record these things, to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to be able to see it, to be able to access it, and just understand that if we could put it at a time when it would match everybody, we certainly would. We have people in Guam and Saipan right now where it is 7 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. We have people in Kentucky where it's 4 p.m. We're soon, as of April 1, going to have people in Alaska where I'm pretty sure it's like 1 p.m. I'm not really sure. The time zones are getting out of hand here. But just the point is we do the best we can to schedule these when we can so that the most people can see them. Again, if not, then at least we'll be we have them recorded so you can just access them. So I want to welcome everybody to the first town hall of 2026. If this is your first one here, welcome. If it's not, welcome back. So if you've seen this before, and for those who've not, there's an opportunity to reflect on what was accomplished over the past quarter. Specifically, since this is the first quarter town hall for 2026, we're going to reflect a little bit on 2025, speak about what we're doing for 2026. As we've said in the past, this organization is growing really large, and by the day, it just gets more and more complex. And there are people that don't know the full gamut of what we do here. And one of the things I hear from organization to organization is that folks don't know what's going on within the organization. So the point of this is to make sure we're sharing information and letting everybody know where we're at, where we're going, and what we're doing. It's also a good opportunity to reflect on the people that made it happen, recognize those people that made it happen, and set expectations. This is always in the best interest of being proactive and being transparent. We want to make sure that you guys know what we know to the greatest extent possible. We're looking forward into 2026 here, and we're going to build on the momentum that we've started in 2025 and raise that bar, and we're going to start ensuring that we can execute at scale. In our every week, the cabinet, I call it, the division directors and above, we meet and we discuss all things that cross all the division lines, from HR to finance to operations to the chief of staff and IT and property and account management, and everybody's there, just making sure that all facets of the organization are communicating. And our goal, when we had the first one this year, I said specifically 2026 is the year that we galvanize, we harden. We set our standards of performance, we set our standards of execution and our standards of excellence, and we're not going to shake them. We're not going to deviate from them, and we're going to really define who we are in this year. So when we look back to 2025, it was a breakout year by just about every metric and measure possible. With our protective security division, they performed over 500,000 hours in armed and unarmed security services, from Broadway to Guam and Saipan to the U.S. Virgin Islands, Maryland, Delaware, and right here in Holtzville, Long Island. We have a massive footprint with our security program, and it's only growing, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Our countermeasure division in 2025 managed to cover 462 events, deploying nearly 2,200 metal detectors or open gates, and then an additional 1,070 traditional metal detectors across 2,445 staffed days, with over 400 team members on the ground for these operations. Some of the marquee event rosters, some of the marquee events, they kind of speak for themselves, from the NFL draft to the Indianapolis 500, the NCAA College World Series, the MLB Speedway Classic in Bristol, the Minnesota State Fair, one of the largest throughout the country, the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs, the World Club Cup at MetLife Stadium, which will be back for the World Cup here in July. Again, we'll speak about 2026 in a little bit, but didn't want to blow by that because that's a big one. And we also had our first international deployment last year with the NFL in Sao Paulo, Brazil, opening up the NFL season, where we placed metal detectors to ensure no weapons were getting inside the stadium there. And as the year closed, we locked in the Super Bowl for 2026, and we were there in February as we watched the I'm a Jets fan. So if anybody else that wins, it really doesn't matter to me. And I can't even think of who won. What a forgettable game. Who the hell was in this? Oh, the Seahawks. Funny story. In 2012, I debated ditching the Jets and becoming a Seahawks fan. So I was a big Russell Wilson fan. He's in the 5'9" club, 5'9" tall, and he went on and won some Super Bowls. And the Seahawks managed to get back to the Super Bowl and win it again before the Jets had managed to sniff the playoffs. So it's my own personal grievance, I guess. So yeah, we managed to pull the Super Bowl off, and it was fantastic. So again, on the protective security side, we'll start with 2026. We just in February launched a new contract in Southern New Jersey. We're partnered with Allied Universal Services there as a joint venture. Started that contract, started in Kentucky as of March 1, and we're getting ready to start in Alaska. For those of you that are not too aware of what we do in the security or protective security side, we do a lot of federal contracting with the Department of Homeland Security, where we put highly trained, skilled, licensed, and certified armed security officers, protective security officers, excuse me, at federal facilities to ensure that the taxpayer gets the services that are required to be provided by the federal government. And these folks work tirelessly day in, day out, dealing in some areas where it's not a great place to be and a great place to work, but they show up as consummate professionals day in, day out. And then in other areas where it's more professional and polished like U.S. attorneys' offices, federal courthouses, U.S. courthouses, and the sort. It's a very complex and diverse series of facilities to work in, even though under the same federal umbrella. And with the start of these last 3 contracts, it brought the company total to 518 employees that now make up this team, which is really impressive to me, because it started as one person at a kitchen table with a credit card and a dream just 9 years ago. So very cool to see us kind of scale at this pace. And they're led by Jason Martinez, our protective security division director, who's done a fantastic job alongside Kelsey Robertson as his deputy. So big thank you to them. Our business development team has also delivered a lot of major landmark wins for this organization. So as a Marine Corps veteran, going back and doing work with the Department of Veteran Affairs is a big deal for me. And we had our first opportunity to be able to work with the Department of Veteran Affairs, which again really meant a lot. We've really stepped up our marketing a bit, and we kind of hold a dominant position in this industry now for weapons detection, and we have a lot of great traction and a lot of great inbound opportunities now that are coming in. And since Monday, since Monday, the account management and events team have generated 34 new opportunities alone. It's clear that, number one, there's a tremendous amount of work being put in by the account management team and the events team to kind of put all that together, or the technical operations team, excuse me. And what's also worth noting is that a significant number of these opportunities are inbound, which is a signal that our industry recognition is strong and soaring and growing. So you do a good job, put a good product out there, ensure that you're saddled with some really solid professionals, and the world kind of comes calling to make sure that they can be protected as well. And that's something that we should all really be proud of, that we're the ones that are now sought after. So keep it up, everybody. You're doing fantastic. On a bit of the corporate infrastructure side, Salesforce has been an ongoing process of implementation over the last couple of years. We've been primarily focused on our countermeasure division and our business office operations being automated through Salesforce. Again, an ever-going and ongoing process. We've also transitioned to ADP payroll and ADP HR. I know that's gone live, and ADP is now your go-to hub for all things payroll, HR, company communications. It's effectively replacing GXC Connects effective immediately. So if you previously used GXC Connects, don't go there anymore. It's now going to live inside ADP. As always, people protection process remains the foundation of this organization. Really great people with really great protection standards and consistent process is what keeps people safe and keeps us reliable. Okay. A little bit more on the digital transformation front. 2025 was a huge digital transformation year for us, and for those protective security officers out there, you see how heavy we lean into TrackTick. We're working every day to improve the integration between ADP and TrackTick, just to keep the digital processes flowing and prevent a lot of manual work. And that's one of the things that I kind of push here is I want to take the work out of the job as much as possible. There's only so much we can really do for the Protective Security Division, specifically the federal side. The government pushes a lot of requirements on to the vendors and to the companies and like us that we have to sort of work through. And sometimes it's clunky, sometimes it's clean, but what's strong and what's consistent is that we never stop trying to find ways to make it better. We speak about that in the GXC way, which I'm going to cover here in a little bit. But just know that we will continue to push for change and evolution in hopes of taking the work out of the job and speeding people up. What's most important to us is that you do have time to not be your time is not inundated by these monotonous and mundane processes as much as possible. So it is a point of emphasis for us and a point of focus. So our ADP transformation or transition that we underwent over the last year, I'm asking everybody, make sure that you can log in. Make sure that you can get into ADP for your pay stubs, your address changes, your tax information, your leave requests. ADP is also now the hub for all job listings, announcements, and resources. So we should be leaning on ADP pretty heavily to make sure that you're getting all the information that you need in real time. We're going to continue to improve digitally everywhere we possibly can. If you have recommendations for improvements or things that seem clunky, always want to hear that feedback. Now, I can't guarantee you it's going to change. What's not okay is, hey, this thing stinks, and then just nothing else. That's an opinion. In order to make things truly change and to ignite change, you have to come with a solution. And it's easy to sit there and say, well, isn't that your job? Yeah, it is my job, but I only have one brain. And I kind of look at it like this. If we have 518 brains here, the 517 brains other than mine collaboratively have an IQ way higher than mine. So it takes a village for these types of things. I could just tell you I spend a lot of sleepless nights trying to find every possible way I can to make things better, but it never hurts to give your help. It never hurts to give your constructive feedback, and even better if you have a suggested solution or something that you think can certainly help. Over the last, it'll be 9 years, and it's technically 8 years as of January 4th, but it'll be 9 years on on August 4th, because I started this company actually when I was in Georgia, and we didn't get incorporated into in New York until January of 2018. We didn't really do that much business between July and January, or August and January of 2017, so I kind of don't include it. So, but over the last, we'll just call it 8 years, I found there's not a lot. There's 10 values that I was able to extract from everything that we've done over the last 8 years and put out in the GXC way. If you've not received the GXC way, I'm going to make sure that it's sent out to the entire company after this. If you've received it already, consider it a reinforcement of the concepts that we live by and how we plan on achieving excellence. So this GXC way is not a poster on the wall. It's how we operated in 2025. It's how we'll continue to operate in 2026. It's how we've operated since the company's inception. All right. Each of the 10 principles, they show up in real moments. And we have a bunch of examples of how each one of these had people showing up and living by those values, which is what we want, right? This is designed to give you an expectation. So number one, chase the perfect day. So John Michael Salomon showed up every single day with the right mindset, the right preparation, a level of consistency his teammates could count on without question. He never chased recognition. He chased that perfect day, and he did it quietly, relentlessly, shift after shift. What I like about this is when we put this out to the team, people spoke up on behalf of others. I love that Barry Sanders quote. When you're good at something, you'll tell everybody. When you're great at something, people will tell you. I like that we're an organization where people recognize good work, hard work, strong work, and consistency. Because I know we're very quick to point out the things that go wrong, but even better when we point out the things that go right. Number 2, GXC principle in the GXC way. You are free to rebuild anything. Nobody comes to mind more than John Peck, who's our quality control manager within GXC. So John Peck didn't accept the way things have always been done, right? The way they've always been done, the way things have always been done, or that's how we've always done it. I know for a fact it vexes him because his brain is always moving and always thinking about the next way to evolve. So he's had a lot of responsibility here. And over the last couple of years, he's rebuilt our operational infrastructure from the ground up through Salesforce implementation. He's functioned as a project manager for that project, as a developer, a troubleshooter. Another person that comes to mind, Amber Pitkin. She did the same for PSD onboarding, recommending innovative processes changes that have streamlined how we bring officers into government contracts. Can I help you? Can I help you? Can I? Who are you, sir? Who are you, sir? Harlan Levine, the attorney? Oh, I am in the middle of a town hall with my entire company. I'm live streaming right now.
Can I be on?
You guys want to see our attorney?
No.
No, I wasn't expecting you.
No, nor should you be. I was just driving by.
Oh.
I just
Oh, hello. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, if I was in the middle of this, we'd definitely catch up. But can I give you a call tomorrow? All right.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks, Harlan. Good to see you. Yeah, that's our attorney, Harlan Levine. So yeah, Amber. I was saying Amber Pitkin. Yeah, I don't like. That might have been weird. I don't like people coming in asking me my name before I know who they are. You showed up here. Yeah, I'm not going to identify myself before you. Now, interesting. That's our attorney, and he doesn't recognize me. I think I should probably look into that relationship that he doesn't know my face, or that I don't know his. So anyway, back to we promised you transparency and openness and honesty. Excuse me. That was pretty funny. Amber Pitkin. She is another person that is constantly rebuilding anything and everything. She's done the same for the way that we onboard our protective security officers for our federal contracts. She's recommended innovative process changes that have pretty much streamlined how we bring officers onto government contracts. And since we've had such a big year over the last, such a big 2025, we certainly needed that help. So thank you to Amber. Number 3, never drop your pack. PSO Cassiano heard the sound of rushing water during a night patrol, didn't dismiss it. He investigated, identified a water main break at the IRS facility. This was in Holtzville, happened last year, and triggered a response that prevented significant damage and protected public safety. That's never dropping your pack. That's not thinking that, it's probably nothing, right? That's the type of mentality we need. Number 4, this fight takes 2. Our countermeasure technicians are a really strong representative, really our supervisor countermeasure technicians, and then also our countermeasure technicians who are a bit more tenured. They've been asked and trusted to mentor newer peers, and they have to live this principle every day. They understand that I'll do it myself is the equivalent of giving man a fish, right? But instead, they teach them how to fish. Let me show you how I found it to work, as opposed to, just doing it for them. And, we have a lot of very smart, capable, strong type A personalities that are like, I'll just do it. So it's always impressive to see people slow down and say, you know what? Let me help you understand it. And we need that level of leadership and mentorship. And really, our countermeasure technicians embody that. This fight takes 2. They're in it for the long haul, and they fight alongside their people. Number 5, be rehirable every day. Essentially, this one requires a lot of self-awareness. If you had to look at yourself and you really truly evaluated the job you did, would you hire yourself? Would you hire yourself tomorrow? A lot of us instinctively want to say, yeah, I'm pretty awesome, right? But modeling it is different, right? Arthur Jones on our Delaware contract, he's somebody that is incredibly rehireable every day. He consistently takes on shifts and that others will kind of shy away from. And he plays a crucial role in preventing open posts on that Delaware contract. Delaware contract is very unique because it's a very small one. And it's only about 14 active protective security officers. And the government, the way they staff, the way they expect the staffing to be done, it doesn't allow for a deep bench of officers because if you can't put them to work, well, then you can't expect them to sit around and wait for you to find them something to do, right? They have to provide for their families. So it requires a really just a lot of commitment on behalf of the Delaware officers for what they do. But Arthur Jones is certainly somebody that has embodied this. He's punctual, doesn't complain. He embodies that spirit of teamwork, and he earns his spot every day. And that's what rehireable looks like, right? Not taking it for granted. Making mistakes of the mind, not mistakes of the heart, is number 6. I didn't want to shout anyone out for making mistakes of the mind and not mistakes of the heart because then we'd basically be telling everybody that somebody makes mistakes. And we all make mistakes. I make mistakes. We expect that. A mistake of the mind is a byproduct of trying. A mistake of the heart is something that you consciously give up on yourself. You consciously give up on something. Like if you can't manage to leave something the way you found it at the very minimum, that's a mistake of the heart. If you leave it worse than you found it, that's a mistake of the heart. We want people that try. It's that simple. Number 7, solve. Don't fuel the flames. Who caused the fire is not as important while it burns than who's going to assist in helping put it out. That's a big one because we live in a very blame-based society where somebody's got to be held responsible immediately when something goes bad, which I don't understand because what we do has real consequences. We have real responsibility. I don't care about whose fault it was when it's a problem. Who's going to get it fixed? Nick Elias, one of our supervisory countermeasure technicians, is one of these folks that can focus in on putting that fire out. So on one job, he discovered 2 open gate units with a main fault at the Indiana State Fair. He didn't wait for someone else to figure it out. He drove 5 hours round trip from Indianapolis to Cincinnati, swapped the units, and he solved the problem before it became the client's problem. That's solving, getting it done. That holds a lot of weight here. Number 8, this one's important. The last town hall, I spoke a lot about this specifically. We take volunteers here, not hostages. This is a direct quote from Mike Tomlin, who's recently retired as the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Years back, somebody asked him when Antonio Brown stripped down and left the field at MetLife Stadium against the Jets, by the way. People said he went nuts and quit his football career. Watching the Jets play football will do that to you. They asked Mike Tomlin, would you take Antonio Brown back? And he said, we take volunteers here, not hostages. Meaning if we have to drag you along to where we want you to go or where we want to go as an organization, this place isn't for you. Go find somebody that will be okay with you fighting every step of the way. It's okay to advocate for yourself, to advocate for your team, right? To advocate for those around you. I mean, we expect that. But if you don't have a plausible reason why you're actually doing it, then you're a hostage and we will cut you loose. And that's not a threat. That's just kind of the mentality we have around here. There are plenty of people willing to accept what we have to offer in compensation, benefits, packages, and all that will come along willingly. That doesn't mean be quiet. That doesn't mean don't have an opinion. I want to make sure that we're clear on this. Being a volunteer also indicates that you're willing to commit to the fix, not just complaining about it being broken. You're willing to commit to the effort, not just cutting corners and being lazy because you don't feel like it. That's a hostage, okay? Werner Blakely is somebody who embodies being a great member of our team and a volunteer in this regard. So he got a last-minute next day request to fly from Detroit to LaGuardia to work at an Apple event in Rockefeller Center. He didn't hesitate. That helps, right? Apple's a huge client. Rockefeller Center, about really the center of New York City in terms of events, right? That's huge. That's a big help. Tony Phillips, after the Smithtown contract ended, she didn't step away. She volunteered to advance her career, right? She'd set herself up to allow herself for a promotion. She was selected as an armed protective security officer on the FPS DHS contract here in Holtzville. That's volunteering, pushing yourself to do more. And she was ready to seize on an opportunity. Number 9, the only thing you are guaranteed here is change. People don't like change. People fear change. Yet everything about our lives is change. The seasons, your clothes, right? Everything about us changes. But we don't like when our conditions change. I'm telling you right now, only thing guaranteed here is change. We evolve at the opportunity to get better, not convenience. In 2025, we launched Salesforce, stood up ADP, realigned payroll under HR, expanded into Guam and Saipan. This year, we're expanding into Alaska. We're deploying internationally. Liz Niles stepped into a gap during the Salesforce implementation, making sure the finance department needs were heard while everything around her changed. We promised it would be different, and it was. You have to be good with being better. That's how this organization has become what it is. And lastly, number 10, use what's in your hands. And the quote underneath the GXC way is, the nail doesn't care what hammer you use. Swing hard. Ross Sands doesn't wait for leads to come in. He reaches out. He goes outbound. University of Northern Colorado closed a 10-unit open gate sale. Josh Flory opened up an entirely new federal vertical with the VA. Lane Sands, Malcolm Eastman, they took on Salesforce customization because it needed to be done, not because it was in their job description. Again, the nail doesn't care what hammer you use. Solve with what you got, then swing hard. These are not hypothetical examples. These are your colleagues. These are real examples. This is the standard. That's how we got to be where we are. This is the GXC way. This is the expectation from today forward, and it's been this way since this place's inception. Okay. Every town hall, I always address the same thing: professional development. We have promoted from within time and time and time again. I want to be clear as to why that's able to happen. It's able to happen because the work that people need to be doing to make it happen started long before the opportunity presented itself. Nobody here is going to walk around looking to give somebody an opportunity they're not prepared for. I've heard people say, this person got that, man, they're lucky. I think it was Oprah said it, right? Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. And with how many people we've promoted internally here to very important roles, very, very highly contributing roles, I think we've earned a lot of credibility in this realm. But we can't just give that away. You have to commit to putting yourself in a position to seize it when it opens. So we provide continuing education. There are benefits assigned to people for development. Okay. If you're part of a union, all of your benefits are tied up in that contract and agreement. Okay. So I want to be clear here. We have to mind those rules. But development just isn't our responsibility. It's yours. I know firmly we do our part. We want to. It benefits us and it benefits you. It's a win-win. Okay. Some of the career pathways across divisions in our PSO advancement there is a direct line from being an unarmed officer to an armed officer to a federal officer. In our countermeasure technician roles, there's a line from being a countermeasure 1 technician to a countermeasure technician 1 to a countermeasure technician 5 to a supervisory countermeasure technician. Need everybody to remember it's a progress over perfection mindset. It's inertia, it's momentum, and that starts long before that opportunity. Please make sure that you're considering that, but we want to see people develop and grow. It's important. This is my favorite part because now we're going to do some employee shout-outs and teammate shout-outs here, which we don't exist. This place doesn't exist. Yeah, it has my initials, but this company does not exist without every single person that's here doing their part, which is why we try so hard to give back how we can, okay? So I want to shout out immediately, I kind of briefly referenced it above, our countermeasure technicians. So this is a shout out to them who've taken the extra time to help mentor their newer peers, right? The staff members who've taught the tricks of the trade while staying true to the actual trade. There is an expectation of professionalism. There is paperwork. There is administration, right? You are the leaders who understand that none of us was born with a working knowledge of metal detectors, x-rays, security, screening, deployment procedures, site acceptance testing, verification and calibration, right? All these things had to be learned. And without you all handing off that information, well, then we have to find a different way to go about that. But I thank you all, specifically you all, for helping the newer folks come along and learn and pick up the way we do things. You know, the impact of these mentoring sessions, whether 30 seconds or an entire week, it can't be understated. So when staff members realize that helping each other means helping ourselves, our team growth and abilities increase exponentially. One person working alone is far less efficient than a team equipped to operate together. And I know the countermeasure team, from the back office administration to the ground operations, they work really well together. Another person, shout out Josh Flory, again, helped put us into that federal market. He's been at multiple trade shows and industry meetings. He's opening doors in new verticals. He's built strong relationships and working relationships with CHEA representatives. He's strengthened our manufacturer partnership, and he's helping position GXC for continued growth. So his initiative, industry engagement, and relationship building are making a real impact. So thank you, Josh Flory. John Peck, I mentioned him a little earlier. His contributions have improved workflow consistency. He's strengthened coordination across departments. He's increased operational efficiency throughout GXC. He's directly responsible for process improvements that help teams work more effectively together, reduce confusion, better support business execution. He's become a key resource across the organization because of his ability to improve processes that affect multiple departments. He's made himself pretty important around here, but all through the tenet of hard work. His impact's broad, it's practical, it's visible, and it's really visible in the way that teams operate because of his support. If you do something in this company, chances are he's touched it. Whether it's contract alignment, whether it's Monday form creation, I mean, really, he's done a great job. So thank you, John. Every year, we do Employee of the Year in different verticals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through our Employees of the Year. So this is, for me, the highlight of the meeting. We're recognizing GXC's top performers for the entirety of 2025. So each award winner represents the highest standard of professionalism, dedication, and alignment with GXC's core values. So this was previewed at the Q4 town hall, and it's now formally announced. I believe everybody had already received their notifications and their plaques. If not, I think there was one that was hung up in the mail. Hopefully Nick got his. I'll get to his in a second. So let's start with our Protective Security Division and our Protective Security Officer of the Year, John Michael Salomon. There are people in every organization who quietly set the standard for everyone around them. They don't ask for recognition. They simply show up, give everything they have, and they make the team better just by being part of it. John Michael, as voted by your peers in leadership, you are exactly that person. Your work ethic and your dedication as a PSO have not gone unnoticed. Day in, day out, you arrive prepared. You show up with the right mindset. You bring a level of consistency that your teammates and supervisors can count on without question. And in this line of work, that level of reliability is everything. It's the foundation on which trust is built, and you've earned that trust completely. What truly sets you apart is your willingness to lend a hand to those around you. You do not just focus on your own responsibilities and move on. You look out for your colleagues. You offer guidance when it's needed, and you do it the GXC way. That spirit of teamwork and genuine care for the people beside you is something that cannot be required of someone. It has to come from within you. And it clearly does. So the culture we've built at GXC exists because of people like you. And it's not a policy or talking point. It's reflected in the actions of every team. It's reflected in the actions of our team every single day. And your actions speak louder than most. So thank you for your dedication, your integrity, and your heart for this team. GXC is better because of you, and I'm personally grateful to have someone like you representing everything we stand for. So congratulations to you, John, as our Protective Security Officer of the Year. Our next award is our Countermeasure Technician of the Year, Mr. Nick Elias. And I can't say enough good things about Nick Elias and his dedication to the job. It's unmatched. And he's the reason I have a lot of confidence in the future of our countermeasure division. There's a lot of reasons. He's one reason, excuse me. One reason. One example of Nick's exceptional performance was what I talked about earlier when he had to go drive 5 hours just to make sure a customer had their units. That's not something taken lightly. I recognize that. There were options, right? We could have expedited through a courier to get those units shipped, right? Which would have been exponentially more expensive, but he used his time, used his resources, and figured it out. Nick's been commended by numerous clients, including Jim Hosfeld of Speedway Motorsports Incorporated. So, Nick essentially from, I'd say, February to September or October is running from racetrack to racetrack, week in, week out, and setting up for NASCAR races. Mike Hagan of the Minnesota State Fairs shouted him out. Tom Vesey of the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Jennifer Easterline of the Indiana State Fair. Again, time and again, Nick steps up to do what needs to be done with dedication to not just get the job done, but to get it done right. And I'm proud to know that Nick was selected as the countermeasure technician of the year. So congratulations to you, Nick. Well deserved. Our next one is our administrative professional of the year. It's Miss Amber Pitkin, as referenced earlier. As a member of our HR division, Ms. Pitkin's performance and contributions to the Protective Security Division of last month have been invaluable. She's assisted in 4 government contract transitions, worked tirelessly past normal business hours to ensure transition requirements are met within stipulated timelines, and she's done it with minimal support. She's managed to really figure out a lot of this on her own through initiative and through just a desire to get things done. She's ensured all incumbent PSO certifications, medical documentation, drug screening, suitability backgrounds are up to date, in compliance, and she's entered them into the appropriate government databases that are required. She's made herself available for 3 PSO meet and greets, ensuring all administrative matters were managed and onboarded without delay. She's recommended innovative ideas to streamline our onboarding processes, continuously provides administrative and human resource assistance across the division. She works in tandem with the PSD director, the deputy director, the HR director, CFO, me, on collective bargaining agreement renegotiations, making recommendations to improve labor and employee relations. Her assistance, expertise, and experience are instrumental in the success of PSD. It can't be understated. She's a consummate professional. If you've gotten to speak with her or work alongside her, her contributions, her dedication, and her performance have just had a massive and significantly positive impact on our organization. So I am really proud to see Amber be awarded and rewarded for her hard work. So congratulations to you, Amber, as our Administrative Professional of the Year. Next, we have Mr. Lane Sands. Lane has been awarded our Account Manager of the Year. He's been a standout leader, guiding the GXC account management team, consistently delivering results through expertise, relentless work ethic, and a steady commitment to doing what's right for customers and teammates alike. Over the past year, Lane has proven his ability to manage large, high-expectation customers who require complex solutions. He brings clarity to complicated situations, aligning stakeholders and driving outcomes that strengthen trust and long-term partnerships. His performance and leadership were so impactful that he earned the well-deserved promotion to the Director of Account Management. Our damn. Beyond the numbers, Lane elevates the entire team by leading by example and investing in others. Prior to his promotion, he voluntarily mentored members of the account management team, sharing knowledge, coaching through challenges, and helping them raise the standard of execution across the group. And Lane's consistent follow through, calm leadership, and willingness to step up without being asked, it makes him the kind of leader that people rely on and aspire to emulate. And he's become a critical addition to the GXC cabinet and continues to take on challenges like Salesforce customization head on. He's a bit of an AI savant in my mind, and he's helped us customize Salesforce for our account management team to make it a bit more efficient for them. And for his exceptional impact on customers, team development, and the culture accountability, that's why he's so deserving of the account manager of the year. So thank you, Lane. Congratulations. So, want to make sure we share the selection criteria here. It's the demonstration of our core values, the GXC way, and the core makeup of our company, which is a people protection process, a measurable impact on team performance, client satisfaction, or operational excellence. That's information that gets shared. Do they provide a positive influence on workplace culture and peer development? Do they have a high degree of reliability, professionalism, and leadership by example? Those are all things that we're looking for when we're doing the evaluation. One of the ones that's most important to me is the positive influence on workplace culture. As said during the last town hall, I don't expect everybody to wear their GXC shirt to a birthday party and talk about how great their company is. And I work for the best company on the planet. Like that's not ever something that I envision for this place. I understand this is a job. It's a career. It's a way to provide for your families. It's a means to some end. It's a way to make ends meet. It's a job. And you can choose to work anywhere. And my commitment is that if you choose to work here, I will at least do my best to make sure that it's a place that is not miserable. Meaning that if you're not happy here, there might be someone who is. So if you have negative opinions with no constructive ideas or solutions, just keep them to yourself. I don't think anybody likes griping. And if you're impacting, it might be a bad idea for you to work here and you don't like it, but maybe it's not for someone else. So don't kill the vibe. Don't kill the workplace culture by complaining to no end with no plan on impacting the way things actually work to fix it or to help promote it. There are literally 33 million places to work in this country. That's how many companies there are in this country. If this one's not for you, please go, because chances are the person next to you, this place is for them. And I don't want their day interrupted by somebody's inability to be happy with themselves and their own decisions that they hold in their own hands. Okay? That's important to me. Positive influence on workplace culture. And the same, I don't need you going around all day talking about how great this place is either, right? It'd be awesome if it happened, but I'm not naive. I don't believe that's what's going on. But one thing that is not acceptable is complaining about your own decisions and making somebody else responsible for it. We added 2 key members to this organization, one in January and one in February. In January, we hired a chief operating officer by the name of John McHenry. John came to us from Health and Human Services. He's a trained investigator, did a lot of investigations on medical fraud and Medicare fraud and fraud. And he's an incredibly sharp man who knows how to ask the right question. And he is helping me oversee the Protective Security Division and the Countermeasure Division to be able to provide some more structure and support to those leaders so that they can better serve the people that are on the front lines representing our organization. I've known John for quite a long time. Before that, he worked for Department of Homeland Security, Federal Protective Service, reached the rank of commander, where he was a tremendous leader and really a bright spot for that organization. Secondly, we brought on a chief operating officer. If it doesn't go without saying, he's primarily responsible for ensuring day-to-day operations occur with as little fanfare as possible, helping kind of develop sharper ways to operate, and just keeping an eye on things. Next, in February we added a chief people officer, and that chief people officer isn't as popular as the chief operating officer role. So I want to take a moment to explain what the chief people officer is, and then who we brought on to fill it. So the chief people officer's primary responsibility is to set the standard by which an organization treats its people. A lot of it is centered on leadership and development, to include creating attrition by setting enforceable standards that people must meet. We have the opposite of an attrition problem, and as a security company, it's very uncommon to have a low level of attrition. Usually, security companies turn people over very fast, but people traditionally don't leave here, and if they do, it's not because they wanted to; it's because they did not meet the bar we were asking them to clear. And if it was they wanted to go somewhere else just because they felt the grass may be greener, typically they come back, which is great. That's a testament to the organization, how it runs, and the quality of people that remain when they leave. And with all that being said, it's important to me, as people begins the alliterative moniker of our company call sign here in people protection process, that we need somebody focusing on those systems and those policies that dictate how we treat the people within the organization. It's important to me. I'll say it again. I recognize this place doesn't exist without the people. So we committed a C-suite executive to do nothing but ensure that the way we hire, the way we train, the way we develop, we hired someone to make sure that those processes are formalized and firm. That will make us stronger as an organization. I felt incredibly fortunate to be able to have the opportunity to bring Miss Lauren Hempfling back. She was our HR manager as we were growing this company, and she played a vital role in standing up our HR department until she stepped away. And as somebody rightfully called, she came back. And now she's chiefly responsible for making sure the people in our organization are set up for success, or to ensure that people that don't align with our organization are set free to go make better decisions for themselves and chase a career or an organization or destination that better suits their needs. So she's a very important addition to our organization and a nod towards the professionalism that we're trying to strive for here. So welcome, John. Welcome, Lauren. Really couldn't be happier to have you all here. Now, for 2026, (2025) had us essentially double in size. 2026 may push us along those same lines. In our protective security division side, there are 5 opportunities that we are ripe for that I believe we actually have a very legitimate shot at winning, which will add likely another 300 to 400 people to the company. Be careful how good you get at anything. But it's a good problem to have, because that means we're expanding our influence and we're expanding our responsibility for protecting millions of people around the globe. Some of our hiring goals are to ensure that we're putting the right people in the right seat. For a long time, I built this company under the impression of get the right people on the bus and then find the right seat for them later. We've now arrived at the place where we're really wanting to make sure that the right person is in the right seat, because we want to keep people here. We want people to be happy here, as happy as they can be here, and call this place a home. Continuity costs, and the best thing you could do for an organization is find a great way to keep the good people here. And if there are people that don't wish to be part of the organization, when they depart, you fill those roles with people that want to be here, because you can choose to work anywhere. And our geographic expansion in 2026 is going to be an interesting one to watch. While we did one international event in 2025, I fear not I fear. A little Freudian slip. Not that I fear. I believe we will be very competitive in a lot of different international markets. I know, for example, the NFL is going to Australia, France, Madrid, Spain, Berlin, London, Mexico City. MLB, Major League Baseball, is going to Dominican Republic. I believe Mexico City as well. So I think our international footprint's going to grow. We have multiple opportunities in Toronto this year, again, to include the World Cup. The World Cup, we have the responsibility of protecting Toronto, Miami, and New York City. Obviously, New York City, MetLife Stadium being the World Cup final, which is really awesome. So we're going to be stretched all over the map. So that's a little bit of an emphasis for us to make sure that we can sustain it. I've challenged the division directors again at the beginning of the year to raise the bar, division by division. That means galvanizing, that means hardening, that means putting in processes, putting in policies, making sure that people understand what's expected of them. And I'll be very interested to see and paying very close attention to those that are help drive this organization towards being a hardened and sustainable and sustained organization in the way that it practices and the way that it performs. Again, we have our training pathways to consider for 2026. Please make sure you're asking your supervisor about that. We want to make sure that if you have a budget set aside for your professional development, use it. Everybody every year wants a raise. Time, unfortunately, it has to be in some regards. Time should not be an indication of growth. Because you manage to stick around for a year somewhere doesn't, to me, I have a hard time connecting that with more. The answer is in any economic or economist will tell you that paying more for the same is eventually an unequal proposition. The commodity has to increase with the compensation. When I say commodity, I'm talking about our technology, right? When I talk about increasing value, I'm talking about our teammates, right? Everybody wants the raise, everybody wants more money. Please use our money to develop yourself. Please. That's important. And finally, one of our big focuses is our system maturation from ADP to Salesforce. We're going to continue to lean into those systems, use them as much as possible to make sure that people have what they need at all times. My best interests are making sure that you and your family are taken care of as far as our responsibilities go. That's all that matters to me. And with that, we arrive at the questions and closing marks. I want to speak a bit about the questions that we receive. I say this with the utmost respect for every single person listening and every single person that's going to watch this. We received a lot of questions, and I want you to know that I hear you. I respect you. I respect your question, and I understand that uncertainty can be very uncomfortable. That's completely natural, and it's something that I do take very seriously. But I also want to be honest with you because it's the only way we're going to operate here. Not every question that comes through a town hall can or should be answered in this setting. Some of the questions that are being raised, in some regards, they're very contract specific. And those questions are important. They're valid. They will be addressed. But they'll be addressed through the proper channels per the terms of your contract and by the right people at the right time. That's not me dismissing your concerns. That's not me telling you that your concerns are invalid. That's me making sure your concerns are handled the way they deserve to be handled, with care and with the process that protects everybody involved. So for questions specific to your pay, your benefits, anything tied to your individual contract, I'm asking that you please use the proper channels that have been made available to you. Reach out to your supervisor, your HR contact, or the appropriate department directly. I can't read those types of questions on a live stream for public consumption. I'm sorry. those conversations, they deserve more focused attention in a private setting where they could be handled accurately. Like this is not as valuable as it is for a town hall to bring us all together. It's just not the right place for those discussions. And trying to address them here it's not going to do your questions justice because I'm not going to be able to answer them with certainty here. What I can tell you is this: like we're committed to transparency. We're committed to you. We'll always do our best to communicate openly, to point you in the right direction, and to make sure that no one feels like they're left without answers. We just want to make sure that those answers are the right ones and that they're delivered in the right way. Please speak to your leadership so that we can get your concerns addressed. I want to thank everybody for being here today. I want to thank you for the questions that were submitted. Again, I know we couldn't answer a lot of them because they're very contract specific, but I didn't want to not acknowledge them either. Okay. Thank you for your continued trust in your team, in this team. Thank you for what you do day in and day out. And to the millions of people who interface with you and reap the direct benefits of your professionalism and the protective posture that you provide, no matter where you are, no matter what job, no matter what building, no matter what post, thank you. You allow millions of people to go home to their families every single day. And oftentimes, the job you do is thankless. Whether you wear a badge and a gun, whether you have a screw gun and a test piece, people don't know how valuable you are to their safety. I do. So I thank you. And I'm proud to work alongside you. Let's keep up this momentum. We'll be back in June or maybe July. Not sure. I'm thinking quarterly might be a little bit too much for these because we want to make sure we have good information to pass to you. So it might be July. We might go every 4 months now just to kind of lean it out a bit, make it more impactful. But until then, everybody, please be safe. Keep doing what you're doing. Have fun doing it. And thank you so much. We'll see you in July. Take care.